Okay, guys, here's my pile of leftover produce from this last week. Cilantro is going to get dehydrated. Same with my onions. So these I would reconstitute into soups and stews and sauces. And so I'm going to shred it. This, and you can just use a cheese grater to shred your carrots. Same with my garlic. For some reason, I think they were on sale last time or something, but I have a ton of tomatoes. I have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have like 8 tomatoes that I need to do something with. But these are going to be put into a sauce today. If you don't have time to make a whole sauce, and it really isn't that hard, but if you don't have time, then you can always just put them in bags and freeze them if you want. This spinach, part of it will probably go into the tomato sauce, and the rest of it will probably get frozen. Okay, so this is a cucumber that's not good anymore. It's very mushy and starting to get slimy. And this orange has been in my fridge for probably months. I keep putting it back in, hoping that the kids would eat it, and they just never did. And now it's kind of, it's just looking, it's very squishy. So out of all of the food that I have, that I'm trying to preserve, these two things are the things that I'm going to have to throw away. But I feel okay about it because I have a compost. So yes, I'm throwing it away, but I'm not just dumping it out. So I still feel like that's using it, even though it's not why I bought it, but I still feel like I'm using it to a good purpose. And plus, 1 orange and like a quarter of a cucumber, if that's all the waste that I have for an entire 2 weeks of meals, then to me that's a win. So I'm happy with that. Sometimes I have more, but this time I only have this. Okay, and then this is going to get dehydrated too. Okay, so now I've got my jobs for today. I've got a bunch of vegetables to dehydrate. I'm going to make some sauce. I need to also look at my menu for this week and see if there's anything I can make in advance that's going to help me throughout the week. I'm going to concentrate on dehydrating, making the sauce. I need to make bread. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'll show you how everything turns out when I get it done. Okay, so I'm down here in my utility closet. Okay, so here's my dehydrator. I keep it down here in my utility closet because it has a little bit of a hum. It's not loud and it's not super annoying. You could probably have it in your kitchen if you wanted, but I just keep it somewhere out of the way. Sometimes it's on for 2 or 3 days, and you don't want it to be where it's going to be in your way. But I've got my shredded carrots, just diced onions, I found some more cilantro, so there's cilantro to dehydrate, green onions, chopped celery, and more onions. Also, another good reason to keep this in your like in a tucked away place is because these will have a really strong smell until they start to dry, and then the smell mellows out. So my dehydrator has a panel on it that controls the temperature. I used to do it really high temperatures, but lately I've been cooling off on the temperatures and just doing it. I only do it like 110 degrees, and you can feel that it's pushing the air out there. A lid here, this is just like, it just hangs on there. We're gonna let them go. I'll probably check on them in about 24 hours and see how they're doing. So it's been a day or two since I put everything in the dehydrator, and now it's all dry and ready to go into the jars. So before I talk about how to preserve them here in my jars, I'm going to talk to you about how you know it's dry. The more moisture content they have in there, the longer it will take them to dry. I try and dry things like vegetables, things of similar flavors together, because sometimes the flavors can mix. I also try and dry things together that have similar moisture content. Of course, you can always just take the thing out if it's done and let it keep dehydrating the rest of the stuff. But so the cilantro, it's crinkly. I don't know if you can hear it. It just like crinkles, and if I press it in my fingers, it just falls apart. So that's dry. If you're still not sure, I'm gonna get a bigger, this is an onion. You can break it. If it snaps easily, then it's probably dry. You can usually see if there's any moisture content inside the fruit or vegetable. It shouldn't, like if you squeeze it, it shouldn't have any water or moisture coming out of it. You can also, I'm going to try it with the carrot. You can also taste it. If you don't taste any like wetness, if you don't run into any little pockets, then that's probably good. So you want to put this down on a clean, dry surface, and I'll show you why in just a minute. To preserve them, you want to put them in a cool, dry place. Cool, dry, and dark place is the best. I bought these at a garage sale, but you can just use, like for some of my smaller stuff, my cilantro, I just use a mason jar. You can also start saving just some of your regular jars that you get at the store. I save my peanut butter jars sometimes when I know I'm going to need something. Something with a good screw-on lid is good. Just make sure that they're sealed away from, because there's moisture in the air, so they need to be somewhere where they can be sealed off. Just fold it up. And then when I go to make a soup or a sauce, or I'm cooking some hamburger or any other kind of meat, you just reach in, grab a handful, and you just dump it. I don't measure. You just dump it as much as you want on there. It reconstitutes in the sauce, and add a little bit more water to my sauce. So, okay, so let me do the rest of these, and then I'll show you what I've got and what I do with my counter when I'm done. So that's it. The last thing that I do, I told you, I start with a really clean counter, really dry, because by the time I'm done, I have all these little pieces that have fallen through the mesh on the dehydrator, and I hate throwing stuff away. So I came up with this little solution. If you don't like this, if this grosses you out, then don't do it. I just have this little seasoning bottle that I used up I don't know, some kind of herb, and I kept it. I also have this. It's a funnel to put like a powder into a water bottle, like a drink mix. But I use it to catch the rest of this stuff, this veggie mix. I can just hook this onto here, get that out of the way. I don't need that. And crush up some of this cilantro, these cilantro leaves. We don't need those stems in there. And then I just catch it in the funnel. For a lot of years, I was just throwing this away, and then I bought a veggie mix, like a dip mix at the store, and so I looked at the ingredients on the back, and I was like, these are all things that I dehydrate. So this is just a little, crush it up a little bit, veggie dip mix. You can use this for salad dressing, dips. I sometimes, if I want to use the rest of it, I'll just dump it in spaghetti sauce. You can use it for anything. My kids really like to sprinkle it on to like baked potatoes, things like that. So anyway, something that you would normally just throw away, and it has a use. So yeah, this stuff will last for a year. And next time I go grocery shopping and I clean out my fridge, I'll take the next batch of vegetables and I'll dehydrate those. And here's all my preserved and dehydrated food for this week.